Sound test room.
Hello everybody, welcome to the sound test room, where today we're going to take a look at the new mini sampler. It's just come with the Cubasis update. So I'm going to show you several things, different ways to use this, which is really good. Firstly, though, for anyone watching who thinks you need the dock, you don't need this. You don't need the iTrack dock for this. You can use anything. You could use iRig guitar mic, or the iRig guitar interface, any audio interface, or just the microphone, or you can sample from audio bus, or you can import samples into a mini sampler. But I have got the output of my desktop, which is running Sample Tank 3, and I'm going to make some instruments with that, and show you different ways and cool things you can do with the sampler. I've got to say that it's the easiest sampler I've worked with. Makes life very easy and sounds great. So first of all, we're just gonna show you something here. We hit media, instruments are already in, mini sampler is there. My instruments is here. Now, I did 2 so far, and this one will just load up big strings. I'm just going to. Sorry, that's the what's it? Right. I'm going to show you. I'll use the keys for this because my piano is controlling Sample Tank at the moment. So keys. This is a something I set up earlier. So first of all, I want to show you how I made that. So I'm not going to go into the whole thing because it took a little bit of time. But first of all, I'll show you what I actually did, so we can get rid of that for now. So let's just get rid of this, and we'll create a new instrument. Okay, so we'll go into here, new instrument, and we'll call this. We'll just call this strings for now. Okay, so strings, and there it is there, and we want to see it there. So strings. So edit. Now there's nothing there. I have nothing in this in the sample yet. So what we're going to do is let's see. I'm going to press media there, and I'm going to go to my audio files, and you'll see here it says big strings, C and G, and I'm going to use that. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to show you what that is and how I made that. Now, I also made that from a VST, and I recorded that into Cubase on the desktop, and there it is there. And this is the thing, and if I play it, that was from Sample Tank. Anyway, it just goes up. So it's C. You can see the notes are separated, and that's the best way to do it. So play separate notes when you're recording something in. So C, G, C, G, C, G, C, G, C, G. So it starts on C2. So that would be G2, C3, G3, C4, G4. So C, G, C, G, C, G. That's it. And then I just imported that into Cubasis, and that's where it ends up. So what you need to do then is, like I said, I'm only going to do a couple of keys here. Otherwise, this takes too much time to get really good. But it gives you the idea of how deep you can go. So you just hold, and it'll highlight like that, and then you just drop it on there. So what did I say? So no. So we want to go lower. So it starts on C2, I think. Just hold that there. Drop that onto C2. And then my next one was G, so I want to put exactly the same sample now onto G2. And I was going to do one more, C again, and the same sample again onto C3, and so on and so forth until I'd filled up my my chunks of samples going all the way up the keyboard. Best to know what notes you played, that's important, and then you can apply them to the correct key. So that's done, and let's pretend we filled up our whole keyboard. We need to now edit those things there. So you see there's the sample, and you can see that it's the full thing. So if we were to just play the keys, it would just go up like that, and then so you'd have C, G2, C3, and then the same up and down. So we're looking at this for this C here. We're looking at this first chunk here. So all we need to do here is get it fairly close-ish to start with, and then we can expand it a little bit. So get it a little bit closer here. Sorry. And then I don't think we need to get any closer than that, do we? For the purposes of this. And the tail is fine. Okay, so we need to then go to edit, select. Now edit is good because it lets you do all sorts of stuff. You could normalize that file if it was too quiet. You can erase it, obviously. You can reverse it. You can fade it in. You can fade it out. Now fade it in and fade it out is good for if you got any pops or clicks or anything. So if you're sampling off a whole track or something, you might have pops and clicks and you want to. But Steinberg did do a really good video that explains how to trim all that. But anyway, we're going to just trim that for now. Okay, so we're left with this. Now, this should just play and it'll end there. Now, say for instance, we don't want it to end. You can leave it as it is if you want to, but we want it to sustain. Well, they're very cool here. We just hit loop. And if we just grab it in the middle there and move it into our sample, we can shorten it so we don't need it to be that long, actually. It will play along and it will start. It will, when it gets to there, it will start to loop. Okay, so this is what will happen now. Oh, we can say, oh, I think I want a little bit more of the attack still left in there, so. But once it's in, it's you're playing it. You're not going to hear anything too bad, and that sounds pretty good to me actually. So next one we want to go to. So that's fine. Now all this is getting auto saved. You've named your instrument. It's done. You don't have to worry about click and save, click save, click save. Nothing like that. It's just done. It's there. So the next one is G. So that's our second one here. So we'll go to there, which is fairly close. And we'll go to there, which is also fairly close. And we'll just expand it a little bit so it makes it easier for us to see. And a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And I think that's what that'll do. So that's quite close to the beginning. Same again. I think that as long as we're cutting, we're trimming before the next note starts, we're fine. Hit trim, done. Hit loop. We'll set it there. And we'll just do the last one, which is the third C. We'll go to about there. Expand so we can see. But you can see it takes a lot of time to get the best out of this. You want multiple samples, of course. Of course, you can use single samples, but multiples work better because you don't lose any degradation of the. Well, not so much of the. We trim for first, so should be. And it's a good idea as well not to have too many effects on your samples, because once you start to map them over different keys, your effect will speed up, because that's all it's doing. It's speeding the pitch up. It's matching the pitch to the keys. And this is why it's good to have samples, as many samples as you like. I mean, really, really good sample pianos, they will sample every single note. So you're not losing any speed, or you're not degrading that sample in any way whatsoever. But we are going to be degrading this one, obviously, a little bit. So that's that there. And we can now loop that so it just sustains. And that's done. Now, it's all very well, but we still haven't got anything here. So what we can do now is we can take hold of our notes and we can just expand them out so that they cover, we'll just go up a little bit there to G. And what we've got now will be this mapped all over. Now what it's done, you see, it's taken that G, it's taken that first C2 and it's speeded it up to match the other notes. And then we've got to F sharp, and then we've got our another original sample G2, which is going to be better. So we're not going to notice the difference so much. So when we go, and then we're back. So we can come out of edit now. If we go into our keys, and I can put a little bit of release on. And of course, if you want to start applying effects now, let's get rid of that now for now. And we can get rid of that instrument completely. Go to media, go to instruments again, Minisampler, my instruments, and you will see that strings has just automatically appeared there. Now, you heard the big string sound a lot better because I spent a lot more time with the trimming and stuff like that to get that sound. And this one I did also, which is called Slow Guitar, which is also quite nice. These keys on. But I could just, you know, but I think it sounded nice with the fade. Now, if you were to do this right, what you need to do, if you want to keep the memory of your envelope setting, you need to tap Save Envelope as default, and then that will remember the fade in and release for that particular instrument that you're set up. Now, okay, so let's get into the good stuff now. Let's change this. We'll get rid of that as well. Let's go again. Instruments and new instrument, and we're going to call this Santor, which is what we're going to sample, and we're going to do this via our audio interface, which shows you the cool. I like this is much easier and quicker than doing the input or and stuff. But you know, input for drums, kicks, stuff like that. It's all great. You can you get the idea that you can map anything over all the keys if you want. So here we go, Santor. Now let's edit. Now for this we need to go to record. We've got stereo input, and you'll see that on my iTrack dock I have monitor already set up, but if I switch that off you won't hear nothing, but you will if I hit monitor. So I've got a C2 all the way up to a C5 there. And that's where that Santor sounds good, which is probably about the range of it, you know. Now, because this is Sample Tank 3, these samples are extremely, extremely good. So if you've got like other VSTs, of course I could plug a synthesizer in there, I could plug the Lisa Scion in there, the the Micro Brute, Novation Mini Nova. I could plug the K oscillators in there and get sounds like this. But I haven't got them. So we're going to start with C3. So select the note we want, and you want to play the corresponding note on your keyboard. Okay, and all we need to do is hit record and It's done. There's the first note for C. And again, we have to go through our edit process. So from there, and I want the tail. So for instance, now it's sorry, we'll go to there, which is pretty close to the beginning of that note. We'll go back to edit, trim that there. We don't need to stay on recording. I've done it, and so we want to normalize it. Now we don't really want our Santor to loop, do we? Because it's not a looping instrument really, but you could, if you wanted to, get it to loop and it'd drone away. Now what we could do at this point is just copy that sample all the way up to C5. But however, it's not going to sound great as it goes up. It's going to get, it's because it's speeding it up, so you'd get this type of effect. Sounds nice there. And it's going to finish quicker. So it doesn't sound good, does it? Whereas if you listen to Sample Tank's C5, and this one, from just being copied, it's not so good. So we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is select our record and select our C sharp 2 and okay, and there it is. And then so on and so forth, all the way up the keyboard until you're happy. I mean, you could skip one or two. You're not going to degrade the sample too much by speeding it up a little bit, but that's the key. That's the key to using the sampler in a good and constructive way. So you've got that now, for instance. So what all we need to do now is clip that to there, like that. Go back to edit, trim. And we want to normalize that, don't we? Okay, so. And then so on and so forth, you get the picture. You go back to record, you hit your D, you check your D for your D there. Now, of course, with for instance, drums, we could start to easily build kits here. So let's see what we've got in drums here. So I have the Neil Peart drum kit, which I'm going to load. And I'll show you, for instance, so now we don't need this, and I don't need to, I can get rid of it later. So that's your thing. Let's just create instruments. Let's see. My instruments, another new instrument, and we'll call it drums. Of course, you can call it whatever you like. And of course, you could play chords if you wanted to, and assign chords to, that's really easy. Play the chord that you want, whether it be complex or not, and then assign that chord to individual keys. So different chords to individual keys. As long as you remember what chords are on what keys, it's going to make your life a lot easier, especially on the iPad, to play a chord with a key. And it could be anything you like, so you really are good to go. Now, let's see what we've got this new instrument here. Drums, edit, and we want them to record. And let's see now, we've got let me see, you need to monitor. So we've got all these drums from the superb Neil Peart kit for Sample Tank 3. So we could check out the effects and stuff, and we can remix it inside Sample Tank, obviously. Turn the kick up a little bit. But let's say, for instance, we want to put our kick on where we'd be comfy on C3, yeah. So let's just record that there. Bang, done. And there it is. And we'll just again, you as your editing procedures are, down to you basically. So, but that's how you do it, guys. Anyway, we'll be here all day if I carry on. So that's how you create instruments and map them to various parts. Brilliant sampler, super simple to use, loads of options. I mean, I call it a mini sampler, but the options are really, really great. I think they're really good, Very cool looping function. Just really, really good. A really, really good job. And the fact that it's free, it almost makes it worth buying Cubasis for samplers, because people like samplers, and this is a very, very, very easy sampler to use. Very nice indeed. But like it says, don't apply too many effects to your sample note coming in. Do that later in your mixer with the effects inside Cubases, or or Interapp Audio or Audio Bus effects and stuff, because your effect will speed up. And so if it was a delay, for instance, your delay is gonna, if you're up here somewhere, or even little adjustments, you're gonna notice. So it's always better to apply effects post later. During the mix and stuff like that. Get as clean a sample as possible, but from wherever you like. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this. If you did, subscribe to the channel, visit thesoundtestroom.com. Please donate something if you possibly can, or become a patron. That's really cool. It helps us out a lot. And I will, I think I've covered pretty much everything there. Like I said, you can plug anything in. You can use the microphone. I've got stereo inputs there, but you can, like I said, you can choose Audio Bus, Interapp Audio, mono feeds, pretty much anything. You can get it in here. Like import from audio, you can import from Audio Share, so that's cool. So any samples that you've got in there, like I've got some Patreon sound pack. There's loads of stuff in there you could use in this. Yeah, it's very cool. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you later.